Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of ISS Ed Talk. Our guest today is Mr. David Bradley, President of the Greater Statesville Chamber of Commerce. David, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Brady. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, I know you're a busy guy, and we really appreciate all of your support, and we thank you for being here today. We're interested in this conversation. I think our viewers will be too.
Good.
First of all, I do want to thank you. The Chamber has always been a true advocate of public education. You guys are always there for us. You supported our bond referendum a year ago. And anytime we need you, you're right there to back us up. So you're true believers in education. Thank you for that.
Well, Brady, it's not only our pleasure. I mean, it is a pleasure to be able to work with Iredell-Statesville Schools because we're all in the same boat. We want a brighter tomorrow. But that's also a moral imperative, is to work with particularly education and Iredell-Statesville Schools. We also work with Mitchell and other schools. Because we have to help, we have to work collaboratively to make tomorrow better than today.
Absolutely. Well said. You know, throughout my career, I remember early that in our community, the economic engine was manufacturing. And as a young teacher, textiles was really strong in this community. The furniture industry was large here. And there were a lot of manufacturing jobs. And of course, I remember manufacturers coming into the school to recruit children right out of high school to go to work for them in those factories. And that is not the case anymore. The world has changed and a lot of those jobs have left. But still, education and the children in these schools, that is the pipeline to the private sector. And we do supply those workers to the economic engine. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how that's morphed and changed. And I keep hearing terms like the new economy and advanced manufacturing.
Absolutely. It's a great question, and I think it's one that we don't often, we don't get the chance to elaborate on very often. But you're exactly right. I grew up in a small town. I grew up in Mount Airy, 60 miles north of here, and probably 60% of our working population made socks or made furniture, and it was all with manual dexterity. It's all with your hands. And in the in the early 1990s to the mid 1990s, across the country, a lot of that standard manufacturing that we knew of, making socks, utilizing your hands to make just about anything, moved south, south of the border, because it's less expensive to make. And many of us thought, oh, that's, what are we going to do? That's the demise of our economy. And in some ways it was, at least for the short term. What we've seen now is many of those jobs, or manufacturing is having a renaissance in our community, certainly in Statesville. But it's not that piecework, that handwork. It's more of a work with your mind. It's more the ability to be able to program a computer or to work with robotics, or to be able to manipulate equipment that makes goods. And so we're seeing a renaissance of manufacturing in our community. And why are schools important? Schools are critically important because we've got to have the workforce that can now utilize those advanced manufacturing skills. 20, 30 years ago, so for several generations, we just needed to educate our children to read, write, and do arithmetic. And now we've got to, they've got to be computer literate beyond anything that perhaps you and I are, and they've got to be able to communicate on a broad scale. It's much further, much larger than reading, writing, and arithmetic. And we have to have the schools do the job that you're doing right now and what you'll do in the future in order to supply that employment base.
So throughout the school system, we're starting to see principals and teachers create initiatives called STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. We are launching our first STEAM school. That is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math down at Lakeshore Elementary next year. So what I'm hearing you say is we're on the right track. Our kids need to be exposed to those areas at an early age.
Absolutely, Brady. And you and I have had the opportunity to talk on a number of different occasions. What I think that Iredell-Statesville school systems does as well, or perhaps better than any other school system in the state of North Carolina, is be attentive to the needs of the local community. And the work that you're doing with STEM and STEAM, as well as the curriculum-specific programs at almost all schools. It's exactly what our community needs.
One of the things that we launched this fall was a STEM academy at each of our middle schools. And we're using existing funding through our CTE program, and that's Career and Technical Education, to help fund those programs. That's a big paradigm shift for us because in years past, we've had business teachers, for example, teaching about business concepts and whatnot as early as the middle schools. So we're shifting that emphasis just a little bit now to ask those teachers, can you blend in some lessons on STEM and STEAM and make kids aware of the career opportunities and whatnot? Two of the things that we're hoping will happen as a result of this is, number one, we hope that the business community will give us teachers on loan so that people in the community that work in STEM careers will visit a school and say, here's my career, here's what I do on a day in, day out business, and how my connection is made to the new economy. And then we're also hoping to form partnerships with you folks so that we can take our kids out in the community to see what advanced manufacturing looks like and what the STEM careers are.
And I think it's from the chamber side, man, our business members would love to be able to get out into the schools to talk about what jobs are available right now, what skill sets are needed right now, and also what they expect in the future. I don't think you would have no problems getting somebody to participate, partly because I think jobs are available now. We have people that are business leaders that are bemoaning the fact that they've got jobs for $50,000 a year jobs, that they just need people that can articulate, can show up for work, pass a drug test, and be responsible, but they can't get those filled. So there's a recognition or a thought amongst a lot of people that job availability certainly now and job availability in the future is going to be limited. Our organization is one of our prime opportunities this year and going forward is going to be to get the word out about what jobs are available and will be needed so that we can keep some of our best and brightest students, we can keep them here working.
Absolutely. I heard you speak a few weeks ago, and the number of jobs in this community right now that are sitting empty is a little staggering.
Well, if we go, there are many partners that work in workforce development, and I personally think that name has to change because it's lost some of its cachet.
That's right.
But if you happen to go to our website, which is www.statesvillechamber.org, and hit a tab on the front page called View the Job Board, that'll take you to North Carolina Works online website. And I checked last night, as a matter of fact, and hoping that we might talk about it. On that page, on that North Carolina Works online page, over the last 2 weeks, there have been 850 jobs posted for positions, 850 positions within 3 or 4 miles of where we sit right now. Wow. That are going unfilled. And some of these jobs might be low-paying jobs, might be in that minimum wage range. But many of these jobs are paying 2 and 3 and 4 times minimum wage, and we're just not getting them filled. So if we want to maximize the burgeoning and growing economy, we have to give our employers the fuel, workforce, to help make that grow. And again, the number one supplier for that workforce is Iredell-Statesville Schools and Mitchell Community College.
Right. And I do know that communities now are in competition with each other.
Correct.
And businesses, as they scan the horizon looking for site locations and things of that nature, they do look holistically at the entire community the quality of life and educational opportunities and things of that nature. So it's like a never-ending cycle. If you want a strong, vibrant community, then you have to create the environment where people will want to move to and open businesses, and one feeds the other.
Well, when it's interesting when industry looks to relocate into a community, one of the top 2 or 3 things that they ask about is education. Is the education system going to be strong enough to where I can attract talent, which is the euphemism for attracting people here? Is the education system sufficient enough to where I can attract talent to move to the community? I don't think there's a soul that would say in Iredell-Statesville school system, or specifically in the Statesville-Troutman area, we can attract people. We have the education system to attract people to our community. Our role is, as you noted, that it's become a competition. We believe that there's not a better place in North Carolina, perhaps the Southeast, to raise a young family than in Statesville and Troutman, North Carolina. So we're going to, through the Chamber and other partners like Iredell-Statesville Schools, over the course of the next year, we're going to really ramp up our efforts to market our community throughout the Southeast as the best place possible to raise a family. So that's our effort at attracting that talent.
Mm-hmm. I know one initiative that Todd Williams, who is our Executive Director of Career and Technical Education, has launched, is to make our community an ACT work-ready community. And I think there may be 5 or 6, maybe 7 communities in North Carolina that have already launched that initiative. For us to be successful at that, we're going to need about 135 business partners in the community to sign on. The way that works is our kids are taking courses in school. They're tested. They're, of course, graded on those levels of proficiency and whatnot. And what we're saying to the business community is, if we can get our kids to a certain level and give them credentials in certain areas, will the employers in the community look favorably on these kids as they come in for interviews and whatnot? So we're very excited about that initiative. And again, for it to work, we have to have I think it's a minimum of 135 businesses sign on. So we're trying our best to get that word out there. We've had quite a few. We've probably got about 24 businesses now that are signed on, but we'll give some more information about that and link it to this broadcast today.
Well, we were delighted. 2 or 3 days ago, we signed on as to be an ACT-ready business, and we'll be getting the word out through all of our membership, because I thank Todd enough for that initiative. And the way we would pitch it to our membership is that when a student comes in with his certification, that certification says that he or she ought to be able to meet a floor level of proficiency at several tasks. Well, gosh, if that student can provide that certification to that potential employer, then he or she has already a leg up on other people that might be looking for that similar position. So it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah, we're excited about that. And I've really got to applaud our friends at Mitchell Community College. We have a great relationship with them. And Mitchell Community College is truly a jewel in our community. And I really appreciate Dr. Tim Brewer and his staff there. We've worked very hard on some initiatives. And the community college is going out into the public schools, and we actually have their teachers in some of our schools now, making it much easier for kids to take college courses. Our 2 early college programs are exceeding all expectations, have a waiting list of kids to try to get into those. And of course, our career and technical school in Troutman, CATS, has exceeded all expectations. So we are trying to do our part to help our community be vibrant and competitive, and to make sure that there is a quality of life in our community for generations to come.
Well, I want you to know how much we appreciate what you and Iredell-Statesville Schools do, because you make us proud to live here. One
last question, we'll close out our conversation for the day, but I want our students to hear this. as the voice of the business community and representing hundreds of employers in our community, talk to us a little bit about soft skills, because I have heard business owners talk about, when I don't only need the smarts and the know-how to do the job, but I'm looking for citizenship in my employees. So timeliness, appearance, drug and alcohol testing. When you hear soft skills, what does that mean?
Well, I think it's a given that that you have to be responsible enough to show up for work and to show up for work on time. I mean, that's a soft skill, but let's say that's a given. It's a given that you have to be able to pass a drug test. Those two are givens, and so the extended soft skills outside of those two are the ability to communicate and the ability to be presentable to the public. Communication is largely based on being able to listen first and then to speak. As Stephen Covey would say, seek first to understand and then to be understood. And also how you physically look, what you are dressed like, matters significantly. So really, when we think of soft skills, we do think of responsibility. We think of the ability to be able to pass a drug test, but the ability to communicate and the ability to have a public presence where you're dressed in such a fashion that represents who you are, but also represents who that business is. Those are critically important. The other technical skills in almost any occupation can be taught. What we're missing are those soft skills, those really sort of basic soft skills.
Including the ability to work as a team.
Correct.
Get along with other folks in a diverse environment.
And collaboratively problem solve. And soft skills are almost like a pyramid. There are those things at the top or at the bottom. And that the more soft skills that you add to the foundation of the pyramid, the higher up in that business chain you're going to move.
Mm-hmm. Well, David, our time is up.
Well,
Gosh, I've enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much. And I look forward to continuing the rich relationship that we have with the Chamber and being a strategic partner with the Chamber.
Thank you, Brady. Thanks for all that you do. Thanks for having me this morning. And I look forward to walking together into a brighter future.
Absolutely. Well, folks, thanks for watching today. We're going to link not only the Chamber website so you can check out those jobs that David was talking about, but we also want to post some information about our effort in STEAM and STEM, as well as this initiative that we're doing with making our community an ACT work-ready community. So follow those links and get some more information about that. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.